Good afternoon, everybody. It's Spencer Duby here, live in the studio, but enough from me. We have some amazing members of Fort Malden Animal Hospital, Dr. Quinn, Briana, and of course, Andre. I feel like he's here for everything, which is great. They're here to talk about something very serious. You know how harmful and important ticks are to humans. Get them off you. If you got them on you, you don't want them in you. But they are very irritating and annoying for pets as well. And we're going to learn some tips from these great people. Hello to everybody. How are you, Dr. Quinn, Briana, and Andre?
Hi, Spencer. Doing good over here.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. You might not hear Andre right now, but you will at some point. Thank you so much for being here. This is a very important topic. Is anybody here an animal owner? First of all, I'll ask that right away.
This is a really funny thing because actually, no.
Yeah,
for now.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've owned dogs most of my life and cats and guinea pigs and all the things, even gerbils and hamsters, because why not, for sure. But at this moment, my home is open. We're just waiting for the right pet to land in our lap.
Well, perfect. Yeah. That's great to hear. One day a pet will be there.
That's right.
Whoever would like to jump in whenever, let's go right to it. So typically, when does flea and tick season start in our area?
Yeah, really good question. Fleas, there's really no season. This is something everyone used to say, oh, the weather's too cold, they can't get fleas. And absolutely, they can get fleas in the middle of winter. We got tons of fleas year round because fleas just want to live on a warm body and they will jump and find a warm body, whether it's animals or humans. They prefer the animals, and that's dogs, cats, rabbits, rats, and ferrets as well, too. They definitely prefer them to us people. Ticks, when the weather is about 4 degrees Celsius and above, they say that ticks are active. But the odd thing about them is they stay low, right? Even in the leaf litter, when leaves are being broken down, it can be really warm, and the ticks are still active under the 4 degrees Celsius at that point. So, you know, when it's our area, we talk about fleas. I'm going to talk a little bit about life cycle things, which is like the boring stuff that no one ever remembers from school. But there's really good reasons for knowing life cycles. So with a flea, they have those lovely adults, the ones that jump around so well. They are going to lay eggs. Those hatch into larvae, and then they become a pupa, which is kind of like a cocoon stage before becoming an adult. The adult fleas can lay up to 50 eggs a day.
Oh.
And that's one flea. You know, often you don't just have one flea kicking around, right? Yeah. And so it takes about a month to go through that whole life cycle of laying those eggs and those developing and that kind of thing. The pupa is the really interesting part because they have this cocoon around them. Say you have a dog who's got fleas, they scratch themselves. The pupa just falls off onto the ground, and it can live in your carpets. It can live between the wood in your floorboards, and it emerges within a few weeks. Kind of gross, but when we're treating these fleas, the point is I can't treat the pupa that's in the environment. I can treat what's going on the dog. So there are things that we can do to try to get rid of fleas. We're going to be talking about this a lot more later, like things like vacuuming your house and washing out the canister if you have a canister vacuum, because you don't want things hatching back from there and coming on out. Gross stuff, but absolutely happens. Washing your bedding more frequently. Think of those dogs and cats that live on your beds, like they sleep on your beds right beside you. Wash your bedding, very important, because we need to get rid of the fleas in the house. But if you treat all the pets in the house, you will get rid of the fleas. But it takes about 3 months to do so, because that pupa life stage can be a few weeks to months until they all fully hatch. So all the pets have to be treated for 3 full months if you want to get rid of fleas. Gross, but interesting stuff.
I feel like I'm back in like science class. This is great. This is great. Like this is going to be a great lesson today for me. Why do you think ticks are such a concern for pet owners right now?
So what we're seeing is with ticks, they don't really care where their blood meal comes from. It's a little bit different from fleas. They just want to find a person, pet, animal, anything to feed from. And like Dr. Quinn said, with ticks, they like to kind of hang out on grass, high weeds, things like that. So as the warmer weather comes out, they're just waiting for people to walk along, and they're just going to crawl wherever they want. And then that with them crawling, sometimes you don't even feel them. Sometimes you don't notice that they're there. So there's a big problem with the not knowing that they're there until they've gotten a lot larger and they've been feeding. There is one tick actually that will actively hunt by running after its prey. Thankfully, this one isn't as common in the area, but it is one that has been, we've been noticing a lot more being common in this area. And that one's called the Lone Star tick. That one actually is one where it can give people a red meat allergy and cause, vomiting, hives, things like that, where they can be allergic to red meat almost. So kind of gross, but also Lyme disease. Lyme disease can be transmitted from the black deer tick, and that one is a lot more common in this area that we are concerned about. This one will kind of cause more symptoms of, just like in humans, Lyme disease, so arthritis issues, pain in the joints, kidney disease as well too. So a lot of concerns in humans in that kind of sense.
Yeah. We get a lot of dogs actually with Lyme disease at the clinic. Every year when we do our heartworm test, everyone always talks about, we're doing a heartworm test, but we're also testing for 3 different tick diseases, including Lyme. And there's one called Anaplasma, one called Ehrlichia, and we have all of those diseases in our area. So awful to know, but good to know that every year when we test heartworm, we're also testing for those diseases.
Yeah, we need to learn, and that's what we're doing here today. It's great to have everybody in. Thank you for doing this. We're going to go to our first break right now. Folks, Dr. Quinn, Briana, Andre, and myself will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Yes, well, hello, friends. Thank you for stopping by to this very important interview here on 107.9 FM. I'm joined by Dr. Quinn, Briana, and Andre from Fort Malden Animal Hospital. They're here talking about some tick prevention, flea prevention for your fur babies. Very important. And if you're just tuning in now, we were talking about this Lone Star tick. That's the one that you can get allergic to meat if you get infected. Just drives into your skin, all that nasty stuff. I guess everything is like really bigger in Texas, and it's made its way here somewhat. You said it's not as common, but it is here.
Yeah, it's one of those ticks that they're finding coming in on migrating birds that are coming around. So think this time of the year, right? A bird's coming in, they're going through just your trees that are in your backyard, falling off from there. I had the first one that I found was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and it was a Chihuahua that never left its backyard. It didn't go to Ojibwe or Malden Park or anything like that, right? It's just inside the house and out in the backyard. And I remember being in an exam room. One of my technicians came and got me and said, "I can't get this tick out of this dog," and she's taken off thousands of ticks, right? So I come out of the exam room and I'm trying to get it out, and I can't get it out of this dog either. Interesting thing afterwards, we found out it was a Lone Star tick. It has longer mouth parts than other ticks do, and they have all these little barbs that go backwards to help it stay in your skin even more.
It's like a fish hook.
Right in there. Exactly. So that was my first Lone Star tick that I ever found. So not even these wild dogs, these hunting dogs, they can be our dogs that are in our backyard. And Briana had a similar experience, different, but similar.
Yeah,
I love to hear the stories. Bring them on. I love to hear it.
So in Nashville, I went for a trip last year just to see my friend, and just didn't really notice anything. And then all of a sudden I felt just something on my leg. I kind of looked down and there was a tick on my leg. It was embedded. Thankfully, I just noticed it and I was able to take it out, and I kept looking at it, and it was so tiny. I had no idea that it was crawling on me, that it had previously. And then I just, saw it there, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a Lone Star tick.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Makes sense. Southern U.S.
You were lucky.
Yes.
Well, that's if you do have any more stories, we'll definitely come back to them. I love to hear the firsthand account from the pros like yourselves. Getting back to the basics here, what are the biggest health risks fleas and ticks pose to pets?
So kind of starting off with fleas, interesting in a way, they can house the eggs of a tapeworm parasite inside of them, actually. So when the pet is itchy, they often chew or bite at any area where the fleas are causing the irritation and will inadvertently eat the flea. So when they're eating the flea, basically the tapeworm egg will hatch in their stomach or intestines, leading to the tapeworm life cycle to start. These tapeworms feed from the food in the pet's intestines, and you typically won't know they're there until a little piece of it will crawl its way outside the back end of the pet. Oddly enough, we can get this tapeworm as well if we eat a flea, so we definitely don't want that. Definitely can cause harm to us as well in a different way. And for ticks, obviously, we have found that dogs thinking they have arthritis, we actually test them, do a heartworm test in clinic, and they're positive for Lyme disease and can cause a lot of other issues as well. Same thing with humans, can also get Lyme disease from ticks, so we worry about that in humans too.
The tapeworm, scary stuff. You never want to encounter that. You never want to have that in you. But now I know that folks at home are going to be listening to this and they might be thinking, well, I barely let my pet outside only to go to the bathroom. Can indoor pets still get fleas and ticks as well?
Absolutely. There's been a few cases in my background where we've had these indoor cats where they just keep getting fleas, despite us treating them for the 3-month period. One of them was a school teacher who had this cat and found out that one of the students that she was spending a lot of time with had a flea jumping off of them inside the classroom. So the flea was likely going on to her, and she was bringing it home to her cats. My sister worked at Value Village for a long time, and unfortunately her cats were getting fleas several times as well, too, because you never know what kind of things are coming in on donated items. So, note to selves, if you're going vintage shopping, make sure you wash your clothes first as soon as they come home, reduce the likelihood that you're getting something from them. So absolutely, indoor pets can still get fleas. Ticks are a little bit trickier because mainly you're going to find those outside, but we could bring them home to our pets. So I'll give you one really interesting example. I did an adventure race with Andre years ago where we were out in the back county, in Essex County. We're going through brush. And when I finished the race, I had just crossed the finish line and I felt something in my belly button.
Of all places.
Of all places. There was a tick embedded in my belly button. And the first thing we do as humans, pull it out, scream, and flick, right? So it was just, it's gone. It's off of me. Well, I found 3 others on me. So I instantly did a tick check at that point. I went home, we washed all our gear, but we still found the next day a tick crawling inside our car. We found a tick crawling inside our bathroom on our walls, and a tick on our dog who did not accompany us on this trip. So even though the dog was inside, it was at some point being exposed to these ticks. So yes, our indoor pets can get them. The good news with most ticks is they need to be outside to finish their life cycle. So like our deer tick, they have to feed on deer and mice. So they want to go outside at some point, right? There's one type of tick that can complete its entire life cycle in our house. I'm not even going to talk about that one. It's like warding off the heebie-jeebies. If I talk about it, it's going to come up. But it's not common in this area, but there have been issues of houses getting infested with this type of tick. Gross, but true.
Well, good to know that for now. We are going to take another quick break here on the Berg. Folks, don't go anywhere, especially if you are a pet owner. Even if you're not, this is very valuable information that you can pass along. Do not touch that dial. Well, that was a great song right there. It had us talking about some sea shanties here in the studio. Great Big Sea, Ordinary Day. Folks, it's Spencer Duby here. We have a very important interview going on. It's very informal. Dr. Quinn, Briana, and Andre from Fort Malden Animal Hospital. They're here talking about flea and tick prevention for your fur babies. Just once again, want to thank everybody for coming in, doing this. It's great to learn about this. I'm learning, and that's great, which, I love coming away with new information. Going back to some of the questions here, what are the early signs pet owners should watch for?
So most commonly with fleas, our pets might be itching, scratching, licking, biting at themselves, and most commonly just above the tail. This is kind of like the flea zone. Sometimes cats will also lick at their bellies, but above the tail is the most common place that we will see them licking or biting. They're very efficient groomers too with cats, so they sometimes will even eat the evidence of fleas and flea dirt, and sometimes you may not even see a flea, so that's why most commonly we'll look for those areas. And for ticks, really just if you've been outside, do a tick check. You can use your hands to feel the most common areas of your pet: head, ears, neck, armpits, groin. They like to walk around for a while before they find a spot to feed on. A lot of times too, they'll find a warm spot. And if you've noticed a new growth, which has just come up within the last days and keeps getting bigger, might be a little suspicious of a tick. Sometimes you can see the legs. Sometimes they like to hide them. So give us a call. Give your regular vet a call just to kind of get more comfortable, and we can help you if it is a tick that is on your pet.
See, now, folks, I'm just like you. I'm sitting here listening to this, and I have the same question that you do. What are the most effective ways to prevent fleas and ticks?
Oh, I love this question. So fleas prevention, it's the best thing that we can do. As I don't remember if I talked about it, but earlier I think we were saying that if you have an adult flea, they can leave 50 eggs per day on the
gross.
pet. So if we have them on a good flea prevention, they're going to bite and they're going to die and stop the life cycle, which means you don't get all those eggs hatching and get into an, now I have an infestation problem. So with fleas, we really like to keep them on year-round flea prevention. And, when you first do find a flea on your pet, it's probably not the first flea that they've gotten. You probably already have an infestation going on.
Good to know.
And there's definitely some worry with some of the products that they get over the counter. Like many of them act as flea birth controls. So it stops the eggs from hatching, but the adults will continue to live happily and outlive whatever prevention that you've put on your pet. So you do want to get something from your veterinarian so that way you're actually killing the adults of the fleas. That tends to be the best way to do it. Also, one of the things that I hate flea collars. I hate them.
Interesting. Why?
Because the fleas will live happily on the butt of the pet. They just stay away from the flea collar. So you never get rid of the fleas on the pet itself. So they just don't work. They don't work. So, talking to your vet about what would be the right plan for your pet specifically is important. There's things that they either go on the back of the neck or they can chew that work well for them. Some are 1 month long, some are 3 months long. But the biggest things are if you do have fleas, you want to clean your house, clean the bedding, get rid of anything in your vacuum, clean your vacuum out, and treat all the pets in your house at the same time with a flea prevention for at least 3 months. But knowing that with fleas, you're going to see more fleas in about a month just because of how that flea life cycle is. There's going to be hatching, new things coming out. So, don't be afraid. Yeah, I just put on the prevention that I got. They're going to be back in a month. It takes you 3 months to get rid of it. With ticks, though, they're a little bit different. So trying to avoid ticks, like if you're going out places that have tall grasses, especially where there's a lot of wildlife like deer and mice, then ticks are going to live in those places too. And if your pets are getting ticks, you're at risk for getting ticks. So when you're going out, and maybe actually I'll defer to Andre for this to talk about different ways to help try to prevent ticks there from the human health perspective. But things like wearing pants with, light colored clothing can really help.
Sure.
We got Andre here. Welcome, Andre. Good to hear from you again.
Thanks. I was just hiding in the corner hoping that no one was going to call on me, but here I am. So when it comes to tick prevention for humans, very similar to animals, like they're going to live on tall grasses and leaf clutter. And yes, they will come out in warm weather, but it might be deceptive. Like Kim was saying earlier, -4 degrees, sure, but under the leaf clutter, how warm is it? It could be quite a bit warmer. In fact, our first flea case at the clinic, the animal hospital, tick case at the hospital was in February. Yes, just as a side note. When it comes to humans, so light clothing, because you're going to want to see if you can see them crawling on you. Long socks would be a good one as well. Use prevention like DEET would be great. When you get home, you're going to want to take off your clothes, put it in the wash, put it on a high heat cycle for dry, just to help kill them. Do a tick check. They like dark, warm places generally, so we're thinking armpits, groins, etc. Do a full tick check. You might not see them because they can be quite small, and even worse is you might not feel them bite you because in their saliva they actually have an anesthetic. So when they bite and they hook onto you, you probably won't even feel a thing. If you do spot a tick, and usually it's after they've engorged, so they've been feeding, they're getting larger, don't pull it off. If you have tick pullers or twisters, use those. Don't pull it off with your hands. You don't want to break them because it can lead to anaphylaxis in some people. Aside from that, keep it, bring it to the health unit or your physician or an urgent care so it can be identified. If we can identify it early, we can give you prophylactics or whatever it is, depending on what species it is specifically. So very important to keep it, don't throw it away. And don't sit on it. Don't wait and say, oh, you know what, nothing's developed. And then 2 days later, there's a bullseye. Oh, it'll probably go away. No. Yeah. Bring it to the health unit and let them know what happened.
Yeah, and for the dogs and cats, bring it to your vet. And I say and cats, because cats get ticks too.
100%.
Right? We've definitely pulled lots of them off. And often we will test the tick or we'll help, identify it, just like Andre was saying, to know what the risk is for your pet.
Yeah, I mean, your vet will also be able to identify. In a human case, I still recommend the health unit, even though we're really good. If you happen to be there with your dog and you're like, hey, did I get bit too? They can help you. But yeah, bring it to your health unit.
Great. Just put it in like a bag or a glass of some sort, like a jar.
Yeah, a mason
like
jar is fine. Bags can be okay. Just make sure there's no holes in them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Well, this has been great so far. And folks, we still have plenty more. We're going to take another quick break here on the Berg. Andre, who you just heard from, Dr. Quinn and Briana and myself will be right back. Don't touch that dial. Isn't that fitting? All the small things, they're pretty bad, the ones that we're talking about. I got Dr. Quinn, Briana, and Andre in from Fort Malden Animal Hospital talking about flea and tick prevention for your pets. Let's just jump right back into the questions. What can people do around their home or yard to reduce fleas and ticks? Is there anything out there?
There are some things that we can do. Fleas are really tricky because they're mainly coming in off of animals that are walking through your backyard. So think your feral cats that are walking through, or even squirrels, right? They can jump off of them. And fleas can jump up to 8 inches high or 5 inches horizontally. Which is pretty amazing when you think about how tiny these little guys are. And they want to find a blood meal, so they will jump and find us anywhere. Ticks, the best things that we can do to prevent would be, say, if you have a whole bunch of brush behind your house, clearing as much of it as possible so there's less places for ticks to hide, or putting a rock barrier at the back of your property, because ticks don't like to walk over hot rocks. Think in the middle of summer, they're going to dehydrate just like we would. So if you have a nice rock barrier, they're not going to want to walk over that. It's not perfect because those migrating birds can still come in for sure, but it helps to reduce the amount of ticks that are in the area.
It's better. That's good. That's really good to know. Is this kind of a good routine to get into, or is it paranoia to check your pets after every walk?
Oh, great routine to be into. And if your pets, again, are at risk, that means you're at risk. Your kids are at risk if they're going out with you as well, too. So check everyone after a walk, especially if you've been in those tall grasses, you've been in those risky kind of places. Check that night even. Check the next day, because some of them, it takes up to 24 hours of them walking around until they find their blood meal and they start getting bigger in size, and you can really see them at that point. So even checking afterwards is great. Fleas, you're probably not going to be as lucky about finding them. However, if you're trying to see if your pet does have fleas, you're going to be looking for what we call the flea dirt. Essentially, it's like the poop of the flea, because they drink blood, they poop out this blood product, and it looks like pepper. So if you see ground pepper flakes amongst your pet's fur, like near the skin, if you put that on a piece of paper towel and you wet it, it becomes reddish because it's blood products. So that way you know if the fleas are there, which is pretty interesting.
Pretty gross, though.
A little bit gross. A little bit gross.
Is it true that certain breeds or coat types are less at risk?
Right. So all the breeds are going to be at risk of getting the fleas and ticks. However, fleas really like the shaggier pets because there's lots of places for them to hide. Same really with ticks as well, too. If you think those ticks are waiting, they're waving their little hands as something's walking by. If you have a furrier dog, they have more surface area to bind onto and then find their blood meal that way. Naked animals, so think like your Sphinx cats, that kind of thing, that really don't have a lot of fur on them. They have less hiding spots, so it's easier to see those fleas, see those ticks, and then pull them off. And things like darker coats, easier for them to hide as well.
Well, what should you do if you find a tick on your pet? Should you panic immediately? Should you call the vet right away? Wait a day? What's the best case scenario here?
So if you've never removed a tick in the past, definitely give your vet a call right away. Usually the registered vet techs, the vets, they can all remove ticks from your pet. And we want to remove them as soon as possible before they have the chance to spread any disease. I've actually removed quite a few in my time, and I usually will like to try to educate owners. So if they're ever in this situation where they're at home, they can't get to a vet or we're closed, it gives them an opportunity to know how to remove a tick by themselves.
That's great. Well, thank you for this. Folks, do not go anywhere. We are taking our final break here on this very good, very informative interview from the members of Fort Malden Animal Hospital, Dr. Quinn, Briana, and Andre. They will be right back. This is 107.9 FM. I'm Spencer Duby, joined by the great people from Fort Malden Animal Hospital, Dr. Quinn, Briana, and Andre. And we're just about done this interview. We got one final question. So before we do that, I just want to thank you all for doing this. It has been great, and it's been so informative. I've learned a lot, and hopefully pet owners out there have learned a lot. So final question I got for you, Leah. What is the best piece of advice for first-time pet owners?
First-time pet owners, talk to your vet. It's going to be the best piece of advice that I can give you because they can look at the pet's lifestyle risk. What's the likelihood that they're going to be picking up fleas and ticks? Like, are they a hunting dog? Are they going to puppy classes, right? And then determine what's going to be the best plan for your individual pet. There's great flea and tick medications, prevention medications that are out there. Some of them kill the insect when they bite. Some of them have a repellent effect, but it, again, depends on the pet, what's going to be right for them. Some of the medications and shampoos that you can get over the counter are very toxic to cats, just so you're aware. So, really make sure that you're looking at labels if you're getting something from, pet stores there, because they can cause seizures and death with some of them for kitty cats. So we want to be away from those kind of things. So again, talk to your vet about what's going to be right for your pets. If your animal is going to be going out and they are getting ticks, and say they're coming in for their annual heartworm test. A lot of times we talk about a heartworm test, but it really is a heartworm tick test. We test for 3 different tick diseases like Lyme disease, anaplasma, there Ehrlichia as well too. And a lot of times that's how we're catching Lyme disease with our pets as well as heartworm disease. So if your pet is at high risk as well, specifically dogs, there's also a Lyme vaccine. So think your hunting dogs who are going to be out there, and that can really help give them internal protection to try to battle Lyme disease. Lots of different things that you can do, but again, talk to your vet.
Talk to your vet, most important part, like Fort Malden Animal Hospital. This has been great, and I'm sure I'm going to be seeing great people at Fort Malden Animal Hospital again very soon for whatever else we're going to learn about. So I've said it once, and I'll say it again. Thank you, everybody, for doing this. It's been a pleasure to have you. Dr. Quinn, great to see you again. Briana, very nice to meet you. Andre, great to see you again. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Spencer.
Thank you.